Welcome to this Great Grades Maths video, and this is part of Module 1 using numbers, and this is video part 7 looking at fractions. So in this video we're going to look at how we can multiply and divide fractions, how we can add and subtract them, how we can simplify fractions, and also how we can find a fraction of a quantity. So let's look at multiplying fractions first of all then. So to multiply fractions, all we have to do is we multiply the top and the bottom numbers separately. So for instance, if we wanted to times these two fractions together, 3 over 5 times 4 over 7, first of all we times the 3 and the 4 together. And then after that we times the 5 and the 7 together. So 3 times 4, that gives us 12. 5 times 7 gives us 35. So our final fraction answer is 12 divided by 35. Now let's look at how we can divide fractions. To divide fractions, we have to turn the second fraction upside down and then multiply the two fractions together. So for instance, let's try to calculate 3 over 4 divided by 1 over 3. So we said that we have to first of all take the fractions and turn the second one upside down. So that becomes now 3 over 1. And then we multiply the two fractions together. So now we have 3 over 4 times 3 over 1. Well, 3 times 3 is the top number, and then the bottom number will be 4 times 1. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 1 is 4. So that gives us 9 over 4 as our final answer. So let's look at how we can simplify fractions now then. And this is important because some fractions can be simplified to smaller numbers. For instance, 24 over 30 can be simplified to 4 over 5. Now to do this, we have to divide the top and bottom numbers of the fraction by a number, and it has to be the same number. And we do this until they won't divide any further. And if we think about it, this number will be a common factor to both of the numbers in the fraction. So by finding the common factor or factors of both of these numbers will help us to decide what we have to divide the numbers by. So let's see how we could take 24 over 30 and convert it or simplify it to 4 over 5. So 24 over 30, well, if we divide by 2 first of all, because 2 is a common factor to both 24 and 30, that gives us 12 over 15. Now if we divide both numbers by 3, because again 3 is a number that will divide both of these numbers, 12 divided by 3 gives us 4, 15 divided by 3 gives us 5, so our simplified fraction is now 4 over 5. And notice we can't divide these numbers any further. So now let's look at how we can add and subtract fractions. Now there are two parts to a fraction. There's the top number, which we call it the numerator, and the bottom number, which we call the denominator. And when we're adding and subtracting fractions, we need to have a common denominator. The bottom number has to be the same. So to do this, there are two steps. First of all, we have to get a common denominator, or we have to get the bottom numbers the same if they're not already the same. And then once we've done that, we have to add or subtract the top numbers only. So to do this, we need to remember how to find the lowest common multiple. And so if you can't remember how to find that, then you need to go back to the special factors section, which was video 6, in order to revise it. So let's look at then how we can find a common denominator for two different fractions. And let's try to do it for these two, 2 over 3 and 1 over 5. So what we have to do is that we have to multiply each fraction by a different number so that the denominator, the bottom number, is the same in both of the fractions. And we can do this by finding the lowest common multiples of both of the denominators, in this case of 3 and 5. So we can list the multiples of 3 and then of 5, and then find the lowest common multiple, which is 15. So then 15 will be the new denominator, in our fractions. So now we have to take our first fraction, 2 over 3, and we need to think about how can we turn the bottom number into 15. Well, we can do that by multiplying by 5. So if we do that, we have to multiply the top number by 5 also. So 2 times 5, well, that will give us 10. And then 3 times 5, well, that gives us 15. So our final answer is 10 over 15. And then we do the same for the second fraction, 1 over 5. We think about how can we turn that 5 into 15? Well, we multiply by 3. So if we do that, we have to multiply the top number by 3 also. So 1 times 3, that gives us 3. And then 5 times 3 gives us 15. So our final answer is 3 over 15. And these are our new fractions where we have found a common denominator. Now we've found a common denominator, we can add the numbers together. And remember, we said that when we're adding or subtracting numbers, we only add or subtract the top numbers together. We leave the bottom number, the denominator, alone. So now we have to simply add the top numbers together. So 10 plus 3, and that will give us 13. So our final answer is 13 over 15. Now if we were subtracting the fractions, we would simply have to subtract the top numbers after getting a common denominator. So for 10 over 15 minus 3 over 15, all we have to do is subtract the top numbers together, leave the denominator alone. So 10 minus 3, well, that gives us 7. So then our final answer for the subtraction is 7 over 15. So let's now look at how we can find a fraction of a quantity. And to find a fraction of a quantity, such as of money or of weight or of something else, we simply have to multiply the quantity by the top number of the fraction and then divide it by the bottom number of the fraction. So a typical exam question is, what is 9 over 20 of 360 pounds? So all we have to do is to multiply the 360 by the 9 and then divide it by the 20. So 9 times 360, well, that gives us 3,240 if we use a calculator or a long multiplication method, and then we have to divide all of that by 20. And we could leave this as our final answer, but it's quite a large fraction and we can simplify it. So we can simplify that down to 1,620 divided by 10, and we got to that by dividing both numbers in our fraction by 2. And then we can get rid of the 10 altogether, because 1,620 will divide by 10 into exactly 162. So our final answer is 162 pounds. Thanks for watching this Great Grades Maths video. For notes about this topic, practice questions, and for further videos, please visit greatgradestuition.com.